Hi, what's up guys, TSJAwesome 628 here, back again with episode 3 of my team career mode here at Bahrain. We're going to start by looking at some upgrades and, well, we don't have any resource points, but we're just looking at where we are in the comparison charts. So, we're basically a midfield side, or we're supposed to be at least. Which is good. We're ahead of Alpha Romeo, Alpha Tauri, Haas and Williams. And we're going to sign a secondary sponsor now, as I mentioned in the last episode. And I decided to go with Atlantic because they are the most well-rounded, and I believe as a team we can easily complete 75 laps during the race weekend. Because obviously there's practice qualifying in the race. Now we do have some resource points after practice, which I've just done, so you've not seen it, and we're going to purchase a front downforce aero upgrade. These are the 4 developments we have, 2 for the Vietnam Grand Prix I believe, and 2 for the Chinese Grand Prix. I may be wrong there, maybe 2 for the Chinese Grand Prix and 2 for Netherlands Grand Prix, but we're going to go into qualifying now. This is Q1. We're going to do 3 runs this time because I timed myself better. So we're on to the first run here, and well, we're going to see how it goes basically, because Bahrain has always been, I wouldn't say it's a weak track for me, but compared to the AI it is, because of how strong they are around here. But I do usually enjoy racing around here, but the AI in recent years have been particularly strong. But we'll come to the end of the lap now, and it isn't a quick lap, but bank laps are never quick. But we'll come around the final corner to set a 1:27.6, which isn't great at all, but we're going on to our second run now, and about 200ths down as we head into turn 1, but we gain that back on the exit here, as we're now just over, we're about a 10th up basically, and that is hopefully going to remain with us for the rest of the lap as we cast on to the end of it again, and we're 3/10ths up. So hopefully it will put us in a better position, considering we're currently P20 and Jack Aiken is P21, so not looking very hopeful. But we have gone into P19, which is, well, not brilliant. We're going to head on to our final run now, starting it with 10 seconds to go, and Jack Aiken is still in P21 there, so I hope on his final run he can improve. We are quite a bit down at this point, well, about a 10th down, just under, but we go to the final lap and we have improved by about 3.5 tenths, and I looked at it and we need about 4 tenths to get into Q2, so we're going to go around the final corner, gain a bit of time on the exit, and it's very close, but we just about make it into Q2 in P16. The caveat to that is that obviously we did knock Jack Aiken out, so we would have had a car in Q2 even if we hadn't improved there, and we also have no fresh tyres to actually take part in Q2, so there's no point in me actually running in Q2, so we're just going to simulate that session. But as we've simulated it now, and both racing points, both Alfa Romeos and Alpha Tauri go out, so it's just the Mercedes, Red Bulls, Ferraris, McLarens and Renaults that make it through. We're going to head into race day here for the grid lineup, and Bottas starts from pole with Hamilton in P2, Leclerc is in P3 and Vettel is in P4. Verstappen starts P5, Albon P6, Ricciardo 7th, Sainz 8th, Ocon 9th and Norris 10th. The Racing Points lock out row 6, and then Kvyat is 13th, Giovinazzi 14th. I start 15th, Aitken 16th. The Hasses 17th and 18th. The Williams 19th and 20th. And Raikkonen taking another penalty in 21st, and Gasly also taking a penalty in 22nd. That's something I don't quite understand, is why Kimi Raikkonen, in the first 2 races of the season, has taken 2 10th-place field penalties. I don't know, but it's time to start the race. Giovinazzi has decided to start on softs for some reason. I'm not quite sure. The fast strategy is obviously mediums to hards, which is the one we're doing, missing on lap 13, but we got an alright start. But Jack Aitken dives down the inside, and he looks to be in P10 right now, almost getting Perez and Ricciardo. And we go around the outside of Sainz, so TSJAwesome cars are now running 10th and 11th after starting 15th and 16th. So we have gained, I've gained 4 positions and he's gained 6. So 10 positions gained in a team on the opening few corners, which is pretty good. As we tap Aitken at the rear slightly there. We're going to go to the end of lap 1 now, and we're seeing if we can pressurise Aitken, but it doesn't seem. It seems more like we're being pressurised by Giovinazzi and Sainz behind, who are both on softs. Sainz has had a terrible start from P8 on the grid. But yeah, they were quicker than me at this stage of the race, as they are on softs. So Giovinazzi's going to go for it here, and this battling is probably going to slow us down, because you see as he pulls away, he pulls out of the slipstream, he isn't really gaining on us anymore, so that is allows us to go round the outside and retake the position. He then is going to go for it into this corner, but we have it covered. On the following lap though, he does just breeze straight past us, and we're going to have to watch out for Sainz behind, but also hope that Aitken doesn't get overtaken straight away by Giovinazzi. But as you can see, Giovinazzi, like just by turn 1 and turn 2, is already on the back of Jack Aitken, which is slightly disappointing, but we do know that Giovinazzi has an extra stop to make than everyone else, so hopefully we can remain in that final points paying position by the end of the race. Carlos Sainz now goes for a move on us, and well, there really isn't much defence, is there? So we are back down to P13. Just noticed again now, Norris is in P15, so terrible start from the Clowns, who both started inside the top 10. They must have suffered from me and Jack Aitken. But now Magnussen heads past, as does Lando Norris, around the outside. But we're going to cut back across and hopefully get a much better exit and pull alongside Lando Norris, and hopefully we overtake him into this next corner. So we go round the outside here, and as he was slightly boxed in by Magnussen, couldn't brake late enough, and we're back up to P14. Magnussen's there in P13, just ahead of us, but they'll probably start pulling away now, because we're really struggling for pace at this stage of the Grand Prix, as we pretty much were in all stages of the Grand Prix. As Norris pits when he was literally just about to overtake us, which is okay. Now we have Kvyat right behind us, and this is the first test of the Honda engine again, which we saw in Australia really couldn't get past us on the straight. So we're going to see in this position whether they can get past us this time. So ahead of us is still Magnussen in P13, but we're mainly watching Fiat behind, who we're pulling away from. A couple of cars in the pits there, or 3 to be precise, and we're up to P11, so theoretically in a good position right now. Jack Aitken's there in P9. Let's see if he can get points this race, because after his first lap he's looked pretty good and he's pulled away from us, he's had more pace than us. And we head on to the end of lap 8, some more cars are coming into the pits, and including Giovinazzi, who we overtake, and Ocon and Albon. And we're going to come out side by side with Charles Leclerc, who tries to go for Magnussen, but Magnussen fends him off, and we can also go and overtake him and up into P7. But Charles Leclerc is going to try and go for it straight into the S section, try and barge his way through, but we have it covered as we run slightly wide as well. He's then trying to do everything to get past us as he tries to go around the outside in all these unconventional overtaking spots. He's clearly quicker than us, but he's now lost the position to Danny Kvyat, but then re-overtakes him into the final corner. He must have been a bit too aggressive when trying to overtake, but now he should easily get us on the straight here. As he pulls to the inside, and well, I'm not really going to fight it because he's in a quicker car, on quicker tyres and on a different strategy, so he's going to finish ahead of us anyway. I could have maybe put up more of a fight and tried to go around the outside, but he's already on the back of Magnussen here, as we have a slight wobble on the exit, and Kvyat is trying to take his opportunity. He's only a tenth behind us, but we hold on into the S section and he uses some time. It's a pretty good start. Well, we're up to P8 right now, but obviously more pit stop for us to come. Bottas is in the pits now, so we overtake him up to P7. So Jack Aitken is in P4, I believe, right now. He may even be... yeah, I think he's P4 right now, which is very good. Obviously, we're not expecting him to finish there this race, but he is theoretically in a net P4 because everyone behind him still has to stop again. But they should be quicker than him and should be able to get back past him. We fend off Danny Kvyat again, who is struggling to get past us in that rear engine. He's going to go for it again here though, Kvyat, but we also need to be worried about Lance Stroll, who is directly behind him. They're both within a tenth of us, and Stroll's apparently ahead going into turn 1. So instead of them challenging me, they're challenging Stroll instead. Sorry, challenging Kvyat, Stroll is. So Kvyat and Stroll are battling now, which should help me, because if they continue to battle on, they'll struggle to pressurise me. But as we head on to the end of lap 12, we're going to have to do some more defending, as Kvyat and Stroll are again right behind us. So our pit window is apparently open, as we're going to go on to hards at the end of this lap. Kvyat's going to go down the inside, but we can just keep him on the curb and take the wide outside line and defend against him, which is something that can continually happen. So you can see Jack Aitken is in P5 as he's been overtaken by Charles Leclerc, but he is in a very good position right now. I think we're coming into the pits at the end of this lap, as it was Sergio Perez. He's gone on to hards, but we commit early to the pit lane rather than we'd usually commit later, just in case Lance Stroll wants to go for a move on us. He didn't pull to the right, and then we try and go into the pits, and he tries to not go into the pits, and then we collide. So we had to commit early out of the corner, which maybe lost us a tenth or so, but it avoided a crash, so it's fine. we're going to come out in P17 here. So it's all an alright position to come out in. But we will have some more work to do. Stroll and Kvyat come in this lap, and we should re-overtake them, as you see in the pit lane on the mini-map at the bottom left. And we are back up into P15 with Magnussen again directly ahead of us. So I think in this we lost the position to Norris in the pit stop phases, but he does have to pit again, so he should be back behind us. We're going to the end of lap 15 now, and Giovinazzi's in the pits, and we re-overtake him to get into P14, but Lance Stroll's going to go for a move here, and well, we're going to try and go around the outside here, and we do. I thought we wouldn't be close enough, but it's just the AI gets stuck on the curb when going up the inside. He's got another good run on us and it's going to go off the inside, but we can fend that off there. Let's get again around the outside. He is really pressurising us here, and there's a yellow flag though, and Sergio Perez, Lance Stroll's teammate, is out of the session, which will put us up a place, but I think we're not going to get points. More importantly, it will put Jack Aitken up a place, and he's up now to P11, one position off the points. Lance Stroll breezes past us on the next lap, up to P13, but we know whether we can hold up some of these guys, because I think they will be quicker than Jack Aitken. So if we can stop them from catching up to him, then that will be good, because obviously we want the most points as a team this year. We're going to head on to the start of lap 18, and Gasly is going to go for a move on us, who he's managed to overtake Kvyat somehow in the pit stop phases, but again we can just go around the outside there and keep the position. So it was our classic defensive manoeuvre in a way. Got our first warning for corner cutting on lap 18, which means that if we get two more we'll get a penalty, but considering we got our first on lap 18, it's unlikely we're going to get two more this race. I mean, I only got one in Australia though. Sainz is in the pits for his second stop, so we're up to P12, but as you see, Ricciardo's the one in P10 if you look at the minimap, and Magnussen is in P9, which means Jack Aitken is at least P8 in this race, so that would be 4 points, which would be massive. But I'm not sure exactly where he is, because I can't see him on the minimap, I can only see the 3 cars ahead. Come to the end of lap 19, and Gasly again is all over the back of us, and he's going to try and go for it into turn 1 here, but he just doesn't have like the engine power to, like you saw with Stroll and Giovinazzi earlier in the race, that they could just breeze past me, but he doesn't have the engine power for that. But as you see, Ocon is now in P10, which means that's another car that is behind Jack Aitken, and Jack Aitken is therefore P7 so currently in this race. I have a feeling he's going to be overtaken by most of these cars, but I really hope he can keep one of them behind and stay in P11 at least. As we get overtaken by Kvyat, and I don't think there's much we can do about this, because we try and pinch him to the inside and go right on the outside, but he has the move done, and finally, well, not finally, because Gasly was the one pressurising us, and they switch cars to AlphaTauri, and suddenly he's back ahead. We are going to try it around the outside here, though. Can we keep the position? But Kvyat does get a better run through the corner and keeps P12. But I'm looking at the minimap now, and you can see that Jack Aitken has been overtaken by one of the Renaults, I think both of them almost, and I think he's holding down P9 right now. So that's still a great result for the team if he can keep it. And luckily we can still see the P11 car, so we know whether Jack Aitken is in the points or not. Gasly is still directly behind us, who yet again, like in Australia, has been failing to get past us for the last few laps. And Kimi Raikkonen, who we know is a much quicker engine, is right behind Gasly. But we were really struggling for pace at this stage. This train is obviously Gasly in it, is going for it here. Raikkonen is also very close, and I think Raikkonen is going to try something, but no, it just looked very close with everyone within a tenth. But we hold off Gasly. I'm more worried about Raikkonen than I am Gasly, because Raikkonen has the Ferrari engine in the back of the car, which in real life isn't great, but on the game it is. Magnussen's now in P11, so we can see that Jack Aitken is still in P10 or P9. I'm not sure if he's ahead of Stroll still. Maybe if we held Stroll up for a little bit more, Aitken would definitely be in P9, because we do have a faster car than Haas on paper, but not racing point. So I think Jack Aitken should have Magnussen and should be able to keep P10 for this race. Gasly again goes for the move, but we try and fend him off again. But he is going to try and go for it into the S section. We do have it covered. I'm not sure, is it going to give Raikkonen an opportunity to go for it? As Gasly tries again round the outside, but fails. And I'm basically just holding up this massive train, as you can see on the minimap, because I've struggled for pace this race. And I think this time Raikkonen is going to go for a move on Gasly, but Gasly again, because I box in Raikkonen cleverly, then Gasly goes for the move, but Raikkonen can't go for the move. He looks like he's going to do it, but because there's two cars ahead of him, he has nowhere to go, even though he is higher speed than both of them. So we're keeping P13 here, but Raikkonen does get past Gasly, and this is the first time I've cut this straight, and that's because Raikkonen's already going to go for a move on us here, and he's going to try and force his way up the inside with a bit of contact there. Slightly aggressive move, but I think he just really wanted to get past, and well, he had more pace than us. And yet again, like he did in Australia, with just a few laps to go, he's overtaken us. This is really turning into me defending from Gasly and then Raikkonen overtaking. You can see who like our main rivals in the series are. They're going to be the Alpha Towers and Alfa Romeos for these first few races, it seems. Which seems about right, considering where our performance index is. But if you see the car directly behind Gasly is now Giovinazzi, who also is in the Alfa Romeo, so he could be another danger man, but I think we can hold out from Gasly. We go on to lap 26 now, or to the end of lap 26, and Gasly's going to go for another move on us into turn 1 here. But keep it in overtake, and as per usual, we're going to go around the outside, and he's going to clip the curb, and we're going to get the inside line, but he hasn't been forced off, so he does have the position for now. But we do go with the DRS with a more powerful engine and can go back round the outside and try and keep the position. But he does have the inside line going to the S section, but we do have the high speed outside line, and we're still going side by side, and we squeeze him out on the exit. And he tries to go back down the inside, but you can see by the arrows there's a whole queue of cars. And we check the tyre wear here, and the hards are on 50% or so tyre wear, which is quite a lot for the hard tyres. They usually only get to about 30%. So you can just see how bad the tyre wear is in this car. And on lap 28 we are still defending from Pierre Gasly going into turn 1, and we successfully keep ahead of him. So it's looking like we will hopefully bring home P14. Obviously, there is still another lap and a half or so to go, but as we come to the end of lap 28, Gasly's going to go for it into the final corner, but we're just going to let him have it, and we're going to take a slight switchback line, but we get it slightly wrong and make a bit of contact. But we do get the DRS, and we didn't get any front wing damage, or I don't think we did. Maybe we did, I didn't notice it on this final lap, but I think if there were a few more laps I'd be able to tell whether that actually front wing damage. But because of our switchback on Gasly, Giovinazzi is now the car pressurising us, and we can keep him round the outside though, because we also had DRS from Gasly, as Sebastian Vettel wins the Grand Prix for Ferrari. So obviously the Mercedes dominated in Australia in this My Team career, but now Sainz has overtaken Giovinazzi, and he's also going to try and pressurise us. We can keep him at bay. I thought he was going to go for a move there because he was on the medium tyres rather than the hards, or he did almost think about it there. We're going to head into the final corner, and it will be P14. Well, Sainz is going to have a good run on us. He's going to try and get us up to the line, but we're just going to hold on. That was photo finish. The Sainz almost overtook us, but it is P14 for us. Kimi Räikkönen yet again wins driver of the day, so he's doing pretty well. But Vettel does win from Hamilton, Leclerc and Bottas. Jack Aitken did get P10 in the end and get our first points. We couldn't quite keep Lance Stroll behind him. But if you look at Jack Aitken's fastest lap, it was slower than all of the other cars behind him except for me and Grosjean downwards, but like all the cars we were trying to battle, like Raikkonen, Kvyat and Magnussen. Look at the driver standings now, and Hamilton still leads, but Vettel overtakes Bottas. Verstappen's still P4, Ricciardo is P5, Leclerc P6, and Jack Aitken is now P12 in the standings, and we are P17. As a team, we move up to 7th in the Constructors, because 14 still haven't scored a point yet. I'm going to leave this episode here though, and I will see you guys next time for the Vietnam Grand Prix.